All these years on, I couldn't be prouder of what they've achieved and what they continue to do for their local area, all their adopters and the dogs they've rehabilitated and rehomed. I'm over the moon that their story is being told now. I've never met anyone like Emma and Anthony. Every single day, they expose themselves to heartache, physical and emotional labour, threats from people who want to stop them, dogs who want to bite them, and red tape that risks their entire operation. And they still keep going, with humour, grace, and that northern practicality. They're some of the best people I have ever known, and I'm delighted you can now get to know them and some of the dogs they've rescued. Kate Lamb, 2024. Chapter 1. Lessons in Avoiding Dog Bites. Emma, then, 2015. Anthony and I fell in love with Bulgaria very easily. The culture and calm way of life were unlike anywhere else we had been, so it didn't take long for us to decide we wanted to build a life here. And it's fortunate we found so much to like about this country and its inhabitants, otherwise we wouldn't be able to bear situations like this one. When the call came from the local mayor, the Bulgarian voice on the other end of the line had told me that the dog was huge and angry. Not the best news. Still, we wasted no time in setting off. Our descent from mountainside into the valley and back up the other side, our battered blue Toyota bouncing around in clouds of dust, was like something out of the Dukes of Hazzard. Our enjoyment of the unspoilt Bulgarian hillside was somewhat lessened by the impending sense of permanent maiming. As we pulled to a stop, I readied myself to leap from the vehicle, desperate to get between the dilapidated shed where the snarling dog was holed up and the farmer who had got it into his head that banging a stick on the walls was a helpful thing to do. I hit the ground running, yelling at the man to get out of the way. A look of momentary surprise crossed his lined face as he realised that not only was an English woman speaking Bulgarian, but she had the audacity to tell him what to do. You can take the woman out of the police force, but you can't take the "it's best you do what I tell you" out of the woman. It's all part of my enviable skill set. Anthony, meanwhile, headed to the back of our pickup to get the capture kit. I'll grant you that it's not a name that translates well to the uninitiated in calming and rescuing street dogs, but it's a necessity in our line of work. Our rescuing days were in their infancy at this point, meaning our equipment was somewhat on the basic side. We learnt fast. Pain really focuses the mind. I repeated my instructions to the gawping farmer, and he reluctantly moved aside, but not before he told me how I should approach the problem. This was a village we knew well. It had an elderly population with outdated views on animal welfare, and yet every property owner had a dog. Sadly, I didn't rate any of the dog's chances of longevity. Anthony and I rushed over here at the local mayor's request, aware he wouldn't have called us if it wasn't necessary and urgent. The pitiful story was that two local brothers had got drunk and, stumbling home in this small, remote village, decided they would torment a dog to pass the time between oblivion and sobriety. Of course it had retaliated and bitten one of them on the leg and the other on the arm, earning it a kicking. And here it was, locked in the shed. Their master plan had been to leave the dog to starve to death. Fortunately, the local mayor got to hear about it, and, being a compassionate man and animal lover, he called us. So, not for the first time, and not for the last, we were ready to try and save the dog. The mayor's request had been to have the dog neutered and return it to the village, but as we stood next to the shed, the sun relentlessly beating down, the hound threw itself again and again at the flimsy door, and Anthony and I exchanged a look. We knew